Good morning or good afternoon, class. Mr. Long here. Today we're going to go ahead and look at document A of our Treaty of Versailles DBQ. So obviously document A, there's two parts to it. The first part is this map of Europe and what Europe looked like pre World War One, and then what happens to Germany post World War One because of the Treaty of Versailles. And then the second part of document A, I'm going to go ahead and scroll down a little bit, is a very short excerpt or a small piece or passage taken from Mein Kampf, which is Hitler's book that he wrote when he was in jail in 1924. So we're going to go ahead, I'm going to scroll back up. We're going to go ahead and talk about the map first. Any notes or anything that I say that is important about the map, you guys all need to be writing down in the margins. So when we are done with this video lecture, your map and your excerpt from Mein Kampf will be completely highlighted, marked up, and annotated. So let's take a look at the map first. Obviously, we always have to look at the source where this is coming from, this information is coming from. And this says German territorial losses. So this is land that Germany loses after World War One, after they lose the war, and the Treaty of Versailles was created, which was in 1919. So before we ever look at the map, we also have to take a look at the legend, which is on the top left-hand corner in the box. And there's three pieces of information that's very, very important in that legend. The first piece of information is this dark, bold line, and that represents the German border before World War One. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to take whatever color highlighter, your choice, and I want you to highlight German border before World War One. From there, what I want you guys to do is I want you to actually go and highlight the border of Germany and how big Germany was before World War One breaks out. The second piece of information is territory lost by Germany after World War One. Now, it's kind of tough to see on your guys' map. That's why I have this map for you guys. It's a little bit easier to see. It's more clear. But there's four places where I want you to highlight. So I want you guys to take a different color highlighter. I want you to highlight territory lost by Germany after World War One. Then I want you to please highlight this area right underneath Denmark, this area right above East Prussia. I want you to highlight the entire area, the Polish corridor, which separates East Prussia from Germany. And then I want you to please highlight the Alsace-Lorraine, which is a buffer zone between Germany and France. Last but not least, I need you guys to take your third color highlighter and I want you to highlight demilitarized zone in the legend. And then I want you to take that same color highlighter and I want you to please highlight the diagonal lines that are in between Germany and France. It is very important that you guys do that and you guys understand that that is a demilitarized zone or an area in which Germany is not allowed to have any soldiers in whatsoever. So with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about um, the major pieces of this map and what is going on in this map. So before World War One breaks out, Germany is big. It takes up a big portion of Europe. Their empire is big, and they have a lot of land. They have a lot of power. But after they lose World War One, they're going to lose a lot of that land. And what I want to focus on first is um, this Polish corridor. And the Polish corridor does one thing. It separates East Prussia from the rest of Germany. It splits it in half. Not necessarily equal halves, but it splits it in half. Now, if something is split in half, for example, a country, that means that country will get weaker. So it is very important for you guys to understand that by taking this area right here, the Polish corridor, and splitting Germany in half, it weakens Germany. So from there, I want you guys to focus on the Alsace-Lorraine territory, which is territory that separates Germany from France. And the Alsace-Lorraine territory is very important because it is a very industrialized area, meaning lots of goods are manufactured in that area. And which means if that land is taken from Germany, they are no longer able to manufacture a bunch of goods there, which means they don't have goods to sell, which means they don't make money. Which end result, their economy is going down. Now, what I really want you to focus on is this city of Danzig. So you can go ahead and circle Danzig, draw a little arrow going up, and I want you guys to make a side note. Danzig is one of the biggest port cities that Germany has. And remember what a port is. A port is like a parking lot for ships. That's where ships come in and they load and unload their goods. Lots of trade happens there and so on. So if Danzig is taken away from the Germans, that means, excuse me guys, I'm trying to do this video lecture and Nixon's running around going crazy. Anyways, Danzig is a really important port city. And if that port city is taken away from Germany, they're no longer able to sell or buy or trade goods, which means, once again, what happens to the economy? It goes down. Another piece of land that I want you to notice is the land that is underneath Denmark. Now, guys, that land is important because it is right next to the ocean, which means it's probably a really good place for what? Trade, of course. So if they're taking major port cities, major trade areas from the Germans are no longer able to do business, which means, once again, what happens to their economy? It goes down. Okay? The last piece of territory that I want to talk about is the Rhineland, which is those diagonal lines that you guys highlighted. And the Rhineland acts as a buffer zone between Germany and France. And Germany is not allowed to have any soldiers in the Rhineland whatsoever. And that's why it's called a demilitarized zone. Now, if Germany allows any of their soldiers to go in that area, what are they doing? They're doing two things. They're breaking the Treaty of Versailles, and the second thing, they're getting closer and closer to France. And France is the one that created this buffer zone. They want to make sure that Germany can never go to war with them and attack them ever again. So they create what is known as this buffer zone, the Rhineland. So going down, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. I want you guys to highlight where it says note, and I want you to highlight that entire note because this is probably one of the most important pieces of information on this map. I'm going to read it to you guys. It says, the treaty took coal-producing areas away from Germany, reducing German coal production by 40%. So I want you guys to think of what they would use coal for. Okay, if you can remember back to the Industrial Revolution, coal is a natural resource, which means it comes from the earth, it comes from the ground, and it's a source of fuel for these steam engines. Steam engines for the machines, steam engines for the trains. If you don't have coal, you can't put coal in the steam engines to manufacture goods, which means you can't put the goods on the trains. And if you don't have trains and coal, you can't transport these goods, which means, once again, guys, hopefully we understand this because I keep on repeating it, less trade, less business, which means the German economy is going way down. Okay? So what I want you guys to do now is hold on next. I want you guys to go ahead and pause it. And I want you guys to take a look at the highlights. And I also want you guys to take a look at all the annotations. And I want your guys' map to look identical to the one that you see here. So pause it. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to scroll down a little bit more so you can see the rest of the highlights. That is going to go ahead and conclude the video lecture for document A. I apologize for the interruptions with Miss Nixon, but that's just the way it is. please, guys, feel free to go back and review this video lecture. Pause it. Please, any questions, let me know. Thank you.